Leo, hey, happy solar return. Wishing you lots of blessings in your next trip around the sun, and you're getting things kicked off in a big way because for months now, months and months now, we've really been having the download come in that Leo season is when it all pops off. Okay, so I think it's going to be quite an eventful time. We have some significant astrology going down, coming in here right now, and I do want to touch base on it very briefly because I feel it's important, and I think all the collective can benefit from this. We'll do some deeper dives into the astrology down the road, but I do want to touch on it right now. You got your new moon coming in on August 4th, right at the same time that we kick off a Mercury retrograde that starts out first in Virgo. We'll be going into Leo, and that goes from the 4th to the 28th. We also have Venus entering Virgo on that day, where it will be firmly in place from the 4th through the 29th, at which point it will then enter Libra, which is at the South Node. We have on August 14th a very significant conjunction coming in, Mars conjunct Jupiter, which is currently in Gemini and will be for a whole year. It's going to be coming in at 16 degrees Gemini, which means during that time, something really important is going to come through, something that ignites the passion, something that moves you into action. So if you felt like you've just been, kind of twiddling your thumbs at the crossroads, oh no, something's going to come up to light your fire around that time. And it's going to be like a new lease on life. Its modes of expansion is Scorpio 20 degrees, which is all about a woman pushing two dark curtains aside to let the sun in, okay? And that's the feeling it's going to give you. So where you may have been keeping to yourself, or maybe you felt curtains were down and this was the final act. Yes, it is a final act, but we always know that the show must go on, okay? So there's something opening up here that does inspire you about your future. And whatever comes in is highly persuasive, all right? But there's a very interesting thing going down the very next day, which is another important transit. We have Mars square Pisces. And we know currently at this time, we have Saturn in Pisces. So it does have a sort of sobering effect for the normal kind of rose-colored glasses, illusory, glamour-like Neptunian energy that can be there hanging out with Jupiter, its other ruler. And this is going to bring kind of a thud, a bit of a thud, I have to say, a little bit of a coming down to earth in terms of whatever lit you up to actually looking at the practicalities of the situation. This might be a time when you return some kind of communication and say, okay, this looks really good. I want to do this, but I have to think of practicalities. And you give your rational arguments for why maybe somebody should see things your way, okay? It's sort of a more conscientious objection, I have to say. I think ultimately you'll move into that expansion with 21 degrees Scorpio that puts you in this place of deviating from the norm, maybe bucking the system or bucking tradition, doing something unexpected that normally you wouldn't do. It kind of takes somebody by surprise. But you have to do this to be true to yourself, and it really does move you into a good position because the means for expansion of that 21 degrees Scorpio is 25 degrees Aries, and that's that North Node energy. So if you want to move into your North Node energy, this is the time for a build up to a leap of faith, trusting what your heart's telling you, trusting yourself to go your own way. And when it all comes out in the wash, you realize you get what you want, or you come to want what you get, okay? So it doesn't turn out half bad. We're going to get an overarching theme for you, an overarching goddess energy, let's say, just to kind of hold court over Leo season for you. This is for all of Leo season and for any significant Leo placement. Or if you happen to have a prominent placement in that 5th house. Likewise, if you're an Aquarius rising, that makes you a Leo descendant. So let's dive right into it and see what energy is in play for you here in Leo season. Bottom of the deck energy. Yes, right now it's just the pause, okay? And you would be wise to sort of like get yourself centered, maybe create some sacred space. We did recently have the full moon, the mirror moon in Capricorn on the 21st of July. And it was a really significant moon. It was actually wrapping up a 16-year karmic cycle that goes back to 2008. So now is the time, as we're waiting for your new moon energy to come in, to sort of just do your checks and balances, create a little space for yourself, look at everything that has changed in your life since 2008. Is there anything you're still holding on to that's holding you back? This could be any holdover feelings you have of things that didn't turn out the way you wanted them to. This could be dreams that you had to put on the back burner to put other people's needs in front of your own, or ways that you feel like you had to compromise yourself, anything that's creating any kind of blockage. This could be a job you're holding on to, a role you're holding on to, something you know you need to switch up, but maybe you just haven't had the courage to take that leap of faith, invest in yourself and release it yet. Now's the time to really hold some space around that, and do make it sacred space. Give yourself an opportunity to drop in with yourself with nematona here as the basis of the matter. Maybe light a candle. Now may be a good time to start a candle vigil and just ask for some spiritual guidance to come in. Maybe send up some prayers and create some quiet space for yourself too, whether you find that place just in sort of blocking out your schedule without interruption, maybe turning off your phone, turning off the computer, just giving yourself some time to be alone, maybe just do a little meditation, or just, you know, allow yourself to rest deeply, integrate everything you've been through as you prepare for the new cycle to begin. I also feel it's a really good time to think of anything else that needs to be brought to completion, that could act as a tether or keep you tied, you know, to a particular situation, but to really ponder this in a certain way where you don't have to be bothered by the input of other people. You can really sink into your own internal knowing. Meditation can be beneficial for you at this time, as can time spent in nature. And it says here to create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. And so what that power place looks like for you may be very different than what it is for another. This is about what helps you drop in with yourself, get connected on a soul level, helps you gain access to your own inner wisdom, your own intuition. For some of you, that's sitting underneath a tree. For others of you, it's soaking in a tub laden with mineral salts and having candles lit to set the ambiance, where you can just like sink in and feel nurtured and feel cleansed. Okay, so there's no right way, wrong way. Do whatever feels right for you. But I feel this is important. It's sort of like a little pause, okay? And there is some retrograde energy going on. We know that. We got a lot backsliding this month too. So there's still that sort of Marty McFly, you know, Back to the Future kind of energy in play. Get ready to hop in the DeLorean. I do think there will be a little bit of that. There will be a little bit of reviewing past decisions, maybe in some cases looking at where you could have made a different choice or where you would have done it different. And who's to say you can't, Leo, if that's how you feel? If that is how you feel, now's the time to create that space to ready yourself for a leap of faith to do what you would have done if you would have done it differently. All right, so these are the kind of energies coming into play. It is a really dynamic time. We know that once we hit the middle of the month on the 14th of August, passions will be running high. There is something coming in at that time that really makes it clear what direction is your due north as far as the compass rose of your heart is concerned. And I do see you really feeling fired up about this, passion on board, wanting to head in a particular direction. But like I said, I do feel the following day, something comes in, maybe whoever you're sharing your thoughts with, feelings with, if it involves another or some other element comes in that sort of grounds you back in reality and makes you realize, like, yes, I can go in this direction, but there's certain things I need to put in place first. Ooh, I like this energy. Yes, Hathor on the bottom of the deck here. Do be receptive to what comes in. Make sure you're really nurturing yourself at this time. Allow yourself to receive. This will increase your intuition, increase your energy, and your ability to more fully show up for others. And I think at this time, maybe you need a little bit more of this. Maybe you've been pouring out a lot of your nurturing to other people. You've been giving a lot of your time and energy, and now it's your time. It's your season, you know? So I do feel like as you're creating this sacred space, maybe sometimes you might feel guilty. Excuse me, a little blockage in the throat there. Maybe. Maybe you need to pipe up about that. Maybe you've been holding that in, you know, that you really feel like you need some support, or it would be really nice, you know, if you could show up and be here for me during this time. Or maybe, you know, just for once you can think about what would fulfill me or make me happy. Or maybe you just feel like you need something to pour into you. Maybe you feel like you've been running on empty, or you've been working too hard, burning the candle at both ends, 11-11. I do think that there is something coming into alignment for you here that does allow something to pour back into you that makes you feel inspired by your life again. 11:22 on the clock. Definitely could have something to do with another, but I do feel like you need to open yourself up to receive. So I think that's sort of what this creating sacred space is about for you. It's about you giving yourself just a little breathing room where you can really get in touch with what your needs are, why you kind of have blocks up around that, why you overextend yourself at times, you know, understanding that you don't need to prove that you're worth pouring into. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to earn your right to be in people's lives by proving how much you can like bend over backwards for them or jump through hoops for them. It's not about that. It's about recognizing that you are somebody who is very nurturing. You give a lot to others. You give a lot of your time and energy. You have something really beautiful to offer others, and you deserve to be poured into as well. Okay. It's a give and take. So I do feel like this is something that's being balanced out in your relationships, a little of this give and take energy. And the goddess that is presiding over your month is the high priestess. We have Dana energy here. This is Asu Danu. Danu is a primordial goddess, and she is the birther of the gods, the birther and the suckler of gods, which is really interesting there with the Hathor reference that brings in that imagery so strongly. She is also the queen of fairy and the mother of the Tuatha De Danann, so very strong, you know, sovereign energy. And it says you have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teachings. So again, there's something here about recognizing the value of what you have to offer, what you have to contribute. Your dreams, your desires, your needs, they're important too. And there's something here about maybe others haven't been receptive to what you've had to share, or in some way they diminished what you've had to share. And there's something here about you really reclaiming that for yourself and saying, no, I know that I have something really valuable to contribute here, and I deserve to be heard. You know, I have something to contribute to this conversation, or to, you know, contribute to what we're working out here. And I do want, you know, my needs, my desires to be considered. I do feel like somebody will be receptive, but there is sort of this like wanting to kind of like bring you down to earth kind of energy. I feel that you might butt heads with somebody. Potentially with this high priestess card here, you could butt heads with a Pisces, okay? Or you could butt heads with somebody that maybe they come off like they're really one of your supporters, they're really in your corner, they really believe in you, they're such a good friend, but really on the sly, they're kind of undermining you because they don't want to see you step into this, you know? Some people will do that. I don't think they always do it consciously. Sometimes it can just be like a subconscious insecure thing. But I think somebody has a hard time seeing you step into your power here, you know, or vice versa. It could be the other way around. It could be you're dealing with somebody who's stepping into their power, and somehow you're not recognizing your own power that you hold. And so in some way, this is like clashing, but you're not really understanding that you also hold power. There's also something beautiful opening up for you here. And I do feel like you're going to straighten your crown here, okay? You're listening more to your intuition too, with this receptivity, the sacred space, you know, the high priestess energy. I do feel like you're really listening deeply to your own directive, and maybe you relied on other people's input before, but I feel like your intuition is really awakening here. And there is this like awakening moment that really like excites you, okay? And whatever comes in there, whatever that comes in there that tries to bring you down to earth, that has you going, you know what? I dissent. I'm not going to go along with the plan. I'm deviating. I'm going to be true to myself. I'm going to go my own way. I don't care if you all think I'm crazy. You know, by you doing that, you're totally going to align with your North Node trajectory. And in the end, you either get what you want or you come to want what you get. Like it puts you where you belong. And there's a really significant North Node in Aries lunar eclipse that will be coming in on, gosh, when does that come in? I want to say that it comes in sometime around like late mid-month in September. It really does tie up that initial solar eclipse that came in the spring in Aries. Okay, so it's wrapping up a really important cycle. And what you couldn't see back then, and I think that was in April that went down, near the end of April. What went down back then that you couldn't see, that you couldn't completely understand, it will be on lock by the time that North Node eclipse hits. Okay, so do be on the lookout for that. I feel like you're really lining yourself up to be exactly where you want to be. Looks really good. Let me do a cut of the deck here and see what we got. Yes, look at this, Sarasvati, the art. So when Sarasvati comes in, I know that there's something you're learning here. You're going through a major spiritual lesson. She is one of the major like creatrix goddesses too. You got that energy coming in absolutely with that Danu, Dana energy as well. So I know whatever's happening here, it's like you're really opening up a whole new chapter in your life. This is birthing a new beginning. It's significant, and there's something you're meant to express here too. So don't hold back your expression. You know, let it come forward. And your creative expression comes through in many different ways. Taking the risk to break from the pack and do what feels right to you is an act of creativity. You know, even if it's not something to do with the arts, it doesn't matter. Your life is an art. You're moving in partnership with life. You're creating it as you go, okay? You very well could be working on some kind of creative project. Maybe you were working with a group of people. They didn't see things your way. It just may be you're an innovator. You see something they can't see. You're meant to go your own way, you know? You'll have them eating their words when they see what you create here. In the meantime, you know, do a little cleansing, maybe spend some time near a body of water. I think baths are really good for you right now. Going to any kind of land like the ocean or a lake or a river, somewhere where you can connect with that element in the natural world will be very calming space for you. In fact, you may discover your own new power point in nature. You may discover a place that has, I don't know why I'm seeing this image of this beautiful tree with like almost overgrown branches. It almost reminds me of like, it looks like it's an oak, but the way the branches are and how heavy they are with foliage, they kind of almost create that same kind of draping effect as a weeping willow. And then I'm seeing like some kind of, it looks like a little brook, a little stream. It could be a creek, but there's some kind of like, could even be a river. There's some kind of running water nearby. That's coming in for somebody. This is a place where it can teach you a lot. There's a lot of grounding you can find there. I also feel when you're in nature, that's when you really are able to tap into your intuition. Okay, so let's see what's coming in here. Let's get some more themes coming in. So knowing that we're wrapping up a major cycle, look at this, eternal love here. Love is love is love. And it transcends physical death. To those of you who did lose a loved one, somebody passed on, they crossed that veil. I think, you know, maybe this is something that you might be integrating. You might have also been through a major transition in a significant relationship, somebody that you thought was going to be by your side for a long time. You could have experienced the ending of a significant relationship or the ending of a phase in your life. You might be preparing to make some kind of major move, I got, okay? It feels brand new. You feel like you're in totally uncharted territory here. It feels a little out of your element, but remember your birth totem, Leo Sun natives, your birth totem is the salmon, okay? So you know how to swim upstream. You know how to swim upstream so that you can, birth new life. That's your medicine. So you do tend to kind of go against the grain. You don't, do things in the way that is always predictable, where you did experience some kind of painful ending in a relationship. The heart of the matter is forgiveness. It's about releasing the burden so you can travel light moving forward. And sometimes that's a stretch, okay? So don't be hard on yourself. As much as you may be called to have compassion for others, it's important that you extend that compassion to yourself as well. Whatever you're releasing here, sometimes that's all forgiveness is. It's just as simple as just letting go, telling yourself, okay, you know what? I'm not going to feel bad about this anymore. I'm not going to, punish myself or feel guilty for what I would have done differently. And maybe there is something different that you can do now. If that's the case, act on it, do it. It might be a big leap of faith, but it looks like whatever risk you take will turn out well. I feel like with that energy coming through of that white rose in the palm, it does also really make me think that whatever new beginning you have here, it's blessed. And it may have come through what looks like somewhat of a reversal, but I feel like in the end, there's something that blooms from it. It's like you've spent a long time embracing the thorns, maybe to the extent that pain has become too familiar to you, and where you're holding on in a grief process with somebody who passed away. If you're holding on to things that you wish you would have done or you wish you would have said, I really feel like the message is coming through very strongly that all is forgiven and that you're loved. And it's really just about understanding that energy just transforms. That's all it does. It takes on a different form. So love never dies. It just continues to take on new forms. And so there's something here about understanding that all is balanced here, all is balanced here. And you may not understand the way everything went if you're dealing with a difficult ending in your life or why it had to go down that way, but you will. And you will find a sense of reason when you end up where you're meant to go. And I really do feel like once we hit September and there's that lunar eclipse in the north node of Aries, you're really going to understand, like, yeah, there is a divine design to life here. And there is some new beginning that is protected for you here. And though you may feel afraid to step into this, it brings you some kind of incredible harvest in the fall, okay? And it's earmarked just for you. So this is a time of blessing coming in for you. It says sweetness and synergy. So where you've been through hard times and bitter tea, this is when things start to get better, This is when you get to the other side and you realize, I'm so glad I closed that old cycle there, because look at what I got before me. Big road opener energy. This is the start of a blessed up cycle for you with that victory wreath there, kind of highlighting this new beginning, this gateway of transformation you're preparing to enter. It's a very significant time for you. It's when you move out of a fixed position and realize it's time to go with the flow, because you'll really like where it's carrying you. You could have also been dealing with another Leo like yourself. You could have been dealing with a past situation that it took a lot of strength to overcome, but you've really found a sense of courage and you really have a certain belief in yourself that you couldn't find before. You may have even dealt with somebody that, you feel always made you kind of bend over backwards to get their approval, or in one way, shape, or form, you always felt like you were like second best in their eyes, or you always had to prove yourself to them or something like this. And it's sort of like getting beyond that, having the strength to really understand why that person always put you in that position. And there's a newfound sense of inner strength here. And you're also like reclaiming your power. And I really feel like you're overcoming this. I feel like your confidence is coming back. It feels like a really good, positive, progressive energy here, Leo. And the beautiful thing is that you're able to get out of your fixed position, you know? I feel like whatever you're moving into here, you're willing to see different perspectives, different side of something that you were once unable to budge around. And it's that thing that gets you out of your own way. And from there, it like opens up so many new opportunities for you. I think you're really going to feel so much lighter and freer once you step through that initiatory gateway on August 19th, when there is that full moon coming in Aquarius. Okay, so you really move into expansion at that time. I do feel that's when you close a particular karmic cycle. Okay, could be with an Aquarius, could be with a Leo like yourself, a Taurus or a Scorpio could be involved in the mix. All right, but it really is a whole new world for you coming in here. Let me do a few more shuffles. I did shuffle this deck before I dropped in for your read, but I'll give a few more shuffles on camera. I do feel some blockage in the throat, so I think right now you're having difficulty aligning with your purpose. You may feel kind of in two minds about something. You may feel like on one level that you should follow a really responsible track, or you may feel bound by duty in some cases, like this is just what I have to do. You might want to throw caution to the wind, but something tells you that that could really turn out pear-shaped. You got a lot of sentience around that. And then you got this other side of you that's just like pure octane passion, you know, and you really want to throw yourself into something wholeheartedly, but potentially a little recklessly, okay? So there is something here about, yes, have hope about what comes through around August 14th. Let it inspire you. Let it open your heart again to possibility. Oof. Let the light back in after a time of darkness. There is something here. It is legitimate, but don't expect everybody to be on board with it, okay? I do have this coming in pretty powerfully that you might have to like deviate from a particular group of friends. You might have to deviate from your family's desires. You may have to deviate from tradition. In some way here, you're preparing yourself for a little bit of that rebellion that comes in with that Aquarian energy, but you will be grounded enough in reality just with the placements we got going on right now. I mean, Saturn in Pisces, we got Pluto in Capricorn, okay? So that is going to really require us to do the work. So I think you'll do just fine. It's going to turn out really well for you, okay? Yeah, I mean, you don't see this right now with the star in reverse. There's something here about you thought that your destiny was in one direction, and then it was like the rug got pulled out from under you. And now you're feeling a bit confused. You may feel like you don't know what your purpose is. You don't know which way you should be heading. You may feel a little bit kind of down, you know, you might need a little something to infuse some hope, but like I'm telling you, just wait, it's coming in, okay? There's something that brings the hope back, right? It does bring the hope back. It comes in the middle of August though, so just give it a little time, create that sacred space, get grounded. Crossing energy, yeah, I mean, you have too much you're carrying right now, too much responsibility, too much old stuff you're holding on to. Hanging on to too much fire too. Holding on to too much fire will make anybody burn out, okay? So this can be like holding on to too much anger, or holding on to too much resentment, holding on to too much frustration. That's all that kind of pressurized fire energy. And you're also bearing the weight of other people's judgments, their opinions, what they think you need to be doing. There's something here about you really need to drop whatever this is you've been carrying. It's taking a lot out of you. And it's preventing you from moving forward. It's really slowing you down. This could be in relation to an earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Maybe you've been waiting for a long time for something that was promised to you, and it just hasn't been coming in. You've been sitting here waiting on this, and nothing's growing. For some of you, it's because you're not acting on it. You're weighing it too much. And at some point, there's something about you have to move outside your comfort zone to really be able to claim an opportunity you want. It's not going to just come to you. It's not just going to be magically manifested in your life. Some of you have been doing a lot of like magic workings, trying to, you know, conjure up this new beginning. Some of you have been actively trying to manifest in a particular direction. But it's more like you're sort of pouring too much energy into other people, and what you should be directing your energy toward is yourself at this time. Some people may think it's selfish, but it is really what you need to do. It's what will bring you balance. It's what's going to balance out that South Node energy for you and free you from a long karmic cycle. And I do feel like whatever this is, just because that full moon in Capricorn that we just had come in, which was all about tying up a karmic cycle from 16 years ago, back in 2008. This has been going on for a while. You've been accepting less than you really wanted, less than you really desired for a long time. And there may be something that comes in here where somebody, you know, tries to make an offer to you and you turn it down. And you turn it down maybe because it doesn't look quite like what you thought it should look like. And there's some other kind of opportunity here that you don't recognize, okay? And maybe it is a bummer, you know, that something doesn't turn out quite the way you wanted to. But it's sort of like you're meant to go down a particular road on your own, pull up stakes, pull up your investment in a particular direction with the Eight of Cups. Let this come to an end. It's sort of like allowing yourself to go on that hermit journey, you know? I always think of the hermit when I see this character with the staff. You know, it's like he's heading out. He's heading out on his own road, and he's trusting where he's being led. He's seeking spiritual alignment. He's seeking personal fulfillment. He's seeking, you know, justice, balance. You could be dealing with a Libra in this situation. I also feel like this is a karmic matter. And there's something here where it's time for things to be balanced out. They've been out of balance up to this point. You need something to pour into you. And what you get when you do this is you come into this King of Pentacles energy, which is beautiful. So where you were sitting around waiting on everybody else to call the shots, which only put you in this deficit, you know, it could have even cost you financially. You could have been relying on other people too much to, you know, fund something that you wanted to develop on a business level, or some kind of creative project that you wanted to launch, or some kind of endeavor you really wanted to invest in. You may have been hitching your chariot to, you know, other people's horses. And it's sort of like you really need to trust yourself to be able to bring this into being. And let me tell you, when you achieve this, there's going to be so much satisfaction here. You may be really looking for that partner, okay? Some of you are looking for somebody to partner with you on a material level. This has something to do with a business objective. This has something to do with a dream, something you want to bring into being. You're moving into a really competitive field here, and you need to stand out. And maybe you feel a little inexperienced, 33 on the clock, but there's something you don't understand here. As long as you're aligned with your vision and your passion, like, you're going to be so jazzed and so like lit up, 44 on the clock, by what you learn here and what it pulls out of you, that you won't regret going your own way. Like, you don't need anybody else to help you get here. You got it all inside of you, and it'll pay off. I do feel like you will ace out the competition. You're going to prove something to yourself. Okay, so for some of you, this is about success. You're really wanting to see success in a certain area, and you will. As soon as you cast off these like judgments and all this BS, all this stuff that you've been lugging around with you, maybe even since you were a kid, you know, stuff that you never healed, stuff that you never got beyond, ways that you dimmed your light so other people could shine. I see you casting that off, and there is some moment of real happiness and real success that comes in here for you. Maybe even around the 19th, I have to say, when there's that full moon in Aquarius, okay, it may really validate your decision to go your own way. And there's something you're going to celebrate here. And I feel like there's progress. It's you moving into your power, and you're really charging ahead here. It's good, okay? For those of you who've really been feeling like, you know, you got dealt a rough hand with a particular devil, okay, maybe something came to light around this with the Capricorn full moon. where you felt like you didn't get what you were, promised. Something felt very unfair, or somebody was like doing some kind of power play, like, just holding a certain level of control over you, or so you thought. You might have felt very betrayed in this situation. You could have felt like you got really cheated out of something. You could have felt like a partner cheated on you or was unfaithful to the connection in some way. Or perhaps you were tempted to step out. This could have rocked stability, okay, in what used to be a situation where it really felt aligned, like you were on the same page. But egos got involved in this situation. It caused arguments. It caused fallout. Maybe you found out there were more cooks in the kitchen than you were aware of. You got pulled into some group dynamic, some group drama. I think you felt like somebody was really selfish here. They just thought about what they wanted. They didn't consider your feelings. Or somebody could be blaming this on you. There's a lot of mirroring energy that came in recently. But there's something here that you get to the other side of this. There's a piece coming through too. It's like, pick your battles, where there's something you can do it. Where it's clear that something's done and dusted, let it go and just release it so you can start to really move into that place of self-mastery, open up your road and dream a new way into being. The power is being put in your hands. And there is a significant choice here. It could involve a Gemini. It could involve something that needs to be communicated. Potentially something that needs to be communicated to a Sagittarius, okay? Something related to a desire to like take something to the next level, move into expansion, go on some trip, or just find some kind of spiritual healing in a situation. I say that because Jupiter is in Gemini right now and has a lot to do with facing off with the mirror and finding the way through. And the way through is to recognize it's not all your way and it's not all their way either. There is another perspective here where you both can be right. The question is, can you get on the same page if this is what you're desiring? There could be the opportunity to heal a connection. You may feel it's not enough. And if that's the case, there's nothing wrong with you taking the power into your own hands with this Queen of Wands energy. I like this. This is strong energy. Look at that. Getting that opportunity and saying, you know what? I'm investing in myself. There's you in your energy, your strength. I do feel like there's some kind of power dynamic that's being balanced out here. And it's with somebody who used to hold a lot of power over you. And you're recognizing that as soon as you align with your truth here, and as soon as you invest in yourself, and you stop accepting what you know doesn't feel right, and you embrace the tower and you ride the lightning, man, and let it lead you into this place of catharsis where you don't feel like just down for the count. Instead, it reveals where you need a new perspective. This is big Aquarian energy. So I do feel like that full moon that comes in Aquarius, something blows your mind. You see something in a totally new way and you're like, wait a minute, I got something I can work with here, okay? And this is what sets you into that place of sort of like planning. But I feel like you're keeping this to yourself, not out of selfishness, but because this is your power move. It's totally for you with the Hermit here, all right? And it's your reward, it's your rebirth on the other side of what you're bringing to a close with the death, okay? You could be dealing with a Scorpio. You could be dealing with a Virgo in this situation. You could be dealing with a water sign energy. You could be a Cancer, Leo, Cusper. You could be dealing with a Pisces. You could be dealing with a Scorpio, pretty strong Scorpio indications. But whatever you turn down here to go your own way, it puts the power in your hands. And I think ultimately what it's going to come down to, again, you could be dealing with a Virgo. You could be dealing with a Libra very strongly here. Something is being balanced out. I feel like this is the close of a karmic cycle. And at the end of the day, somebody has to be able to approach you with the truth and nothing but the truth. Somebody's wanting the truth here. And that's the only way there can be a radical transformation in a connection where everybody's too invested in staying in their safe place. And no, I can't reveal what I feel in my heart, because if I do that, then I'm going to look like a fool. And wherever that pride is in place, this won't come into alignment. But I do feel where you can take the leap of faith and get real and put it all on the line and stand in your strength and power and maybe face down with that thing that you thought, oh, there's no way I can ever have the courage to face this. You find the way through. Look at that. Okay, so we got King of Pentacles to Queen of Pentacles. There is somebody who will match your energy here. And maybe this is what's been missing. You haven't really been standing in your power. I think you need to ready yourself for this, okay? Again, there's that water, right? 4044 on the clock. There's something that's going to manifest for you here, and it's really going to change the trajectory of your life. I feel like you're coming into alignment with the right path, with the right person. I do feel like there's another person on the other side of this equation, whatever this is. There's somebody that's partnering with you here, and it does bring a spirit of celebration. This could involve a home. For some of you, it could involve a marriage. This is really healing something, getting to the other side of something, finding that mutual appreciation that was missing, you getting your flowers, you being recognized for what you contribute. This is like the victory lap. It's getting to that place of arrival where you get your time in the sun. And look at that. There's that celebration you wanted, okay? So there's something here. I think you're going to take the offer from spirit, you know? It's like, it seems like it's a risk, but it's the risky thing that leads you to that new beginning, and it turns everything around. And like I said, you know, there may be opposition to you breaking from the pack when you go your own way and you say, fine, I don't need you all to invest in this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it alone. It's got like that kind of vibe to it. Maybe it was a group project at first, or maybe, you know, you were in a relationship and, you know, this person just never wanted to commit, and they just sort of felt like you should just acquiesce and be okay with what they had to offer you. And you were finally like, you know what? No, that's okay. I'll go off on my own. Whatever this is, I see that it's worth taking a stand for, right? I'm going to do a cut of the deck here to see what we got. And then I think I'll get a super awesome future card to kind of top things off here. I feel like this is where you're at right now. You feel stuck. You know, you might be feeling a little sorry for yourself, or you may feel like you don't have what you need to move something forward, or it's not fair, but it's all in your mind. And you're going to have a totally different insight that's going to come through for you. It's coming through some kind of news, some kind of opportunity, something that you can't see right now. You don't think it's possible right now, but this is really what leads you on the track that you need to be on. And it leads you into your destiny, and you're really going to have something to celebrate here. For some of you, there will be a lot of attention placed on you by the time you arrive here, okay? There's some kind of, you know, recognition. There's some kind of stability that comes in here. There's something you can really feel good about. And I feel like there's somebody to celebrate it with, okay? So this looks good to me. Nothing to complain about there, Leo, right? You just got out faith. And there is something here about, you know, you got to take a risk. You can't wait for somebody to come and save you in this situation. Yeah, don't let those zombies feed on your brain. See, with the 21st, that full moon that just came in, there might have been something that cropped up from the past again that sort of like knocked your confidence a little bit. All right, so you might still have a little bit of that old, you know, karmic cycle to slough off here. You know, be smart. I think it's time to really like create closure in a situation so you don't have to always be dealing with Night of the Living Dead. You know what I'm saying? 44:11 on the clock. It's time to come into alignment with something that will be much more empowering for you. Yeah, and this may have something to do with your living situation. It may have to do with your house. Maybe, you know, things have been imbalanced in the home for quite a while. Maybe you don't like where you're living. Maybe, you know, you were married and you're coming to the end of that relationship, and it's time to kind of like pull up roots, head in a new direction. This is possible. There might have been a lot of arguments, okay? Could have been related to some kind of past matter, or somebody came back from the past and really stirred up a lot of issues, a lot of deep-seated stuff, okay? I think things haven't felt like home for a while, or maybe you just haven't really understood where you've belonged for a while, but I feel like this is really changing for you. Okay, what's coming in here? Woo! Okay, there's quite a lot that came across in that. Yeah, okay. We do have this energy here, bottom of the deck, 13, the broken mirror. Something here has felt like, you've been a little jaded or you've dealt with a real patch of bad luck here. But, this energy, that Friday the 13th energy really does make me think of Freya, okay? And so this is sort of like, you can really get your own chariot moving forward. You don't need to wait for some knight in shining armor to show up or the cavalry. You got everything it takes to turn this around. And there's a little bit of that, like, stop looking at it as bad luck. Start looking at it as opportunity to really show yourself what you're capable of here, right? And again, those of you who've really been trying to manifest something specifically as your outcome, you're limiting yourself. As soon as you just say, okay, I don't know why this didn't turn out the way I thought it would, but I'm trusting that things are aligning the way they're supposed to. Show me where I'm meant to be, man. There's something that comes in here for you. It's very interesting because that Mars conjunct Jupiter, your breaking point, where you just feel like, that's it. I'm tired of this. If one more thing goes wrong, I can't deal with it. And it's sort of like, it's something that you're initially viewing as a reversal, but then by the very next day, something happens that you're like, oh my gosh, that's the best thing that could have happened to me. Now I can do this, because you get some other opportunity. It has almost like this instant reversal energy. At first it looks bad, and then all of a sudden, the very next day, when this new energy shifts with the transit, you're like, wait, this is awesome. Okay? I feel like your faith is being restored here. Yep, look at that. It actually opens up a lucky new cycle for you. And I really feel like the next 3 full moons will be very significant. So first, that one coming up in August on the 19th in Aquarius, and then the full moon in September, and then the one coming in October. You're going to be heading in a whole new direction. It's not going to look anything like you thought it would be, okay? Whatever this is, it's brand new. And I do feel it's the start of a very lucky cycle for you. I think you're going to feel a little bit out of your element. This may require a major move. At the very least, I see it involving some kind of travel. For some of you, it really requires you to think outside the box. Maybe you never saw yourself doing something like this, stepping into this. And these are the energies that are crossing the house. So yeah, I mean, some of you are ending a very significant relationship here. Life path 4 may be in play. Life path 6 may be in play there. There might be something that really goes down on the 15th with that Mars square Pisces, where you realize, like, nope, we're not on the same page, and this is never going to work. And like, maybe the time when you finally accept that this just isn't where it's at, and I'm meant to go in a different direction. There might have been a lot of arguments between you. There might have been something that was really stirred up, maybe because somebody in this situation has an addiction. Perhaps they have alcohol issues. They party a little too much or something. But I do feel like something here has just been too tumultuous, too chaotic, and it really does need that, like, you need that stabilization, right? So whatever is turning around here, it's good. And it could be that you're breaking up from a situation that involved multiple people. This could be a work situation. This could be a family drama, a friendship circle drama. And you're choosing to move toward peace and harmony and toward, your time of going off into the sunset. You're not dealing with cleaning up other people's messes anymore. And maybe somebody wanted you to take the fall. Maybe they wanted you to clean up the messes they made or something like this. I see you leaving them to rescue themselves, figure it out themselves, and you're heading in a new direction, okay? Let's do a cut of the deck, see what we got here. Oh, I think, you're going to find peace with this situation. You're going to appreciate it for what it was. You're always going to have a fondness for this individual or whatever this is, this time in your life that you are leaving behind. I think ultimately you'll choose to remember the good times here, but you're ready for a change with 23. You'll be dealing with the life path 5, and look what it brings in. Like I told you, total alignment with you coming into contact with somebody who feels like, yes, this is, this is my other half. This is the person who like sees things the way that I do, you know? We're each independent people that can get on the same page, and we have the same vision, and we want to aim for that same moon. You're getting on the same page with somebody. It's really beautiful. You could be dealing with a Sagittarius. You could be dealing with somebody born in the year of the horse, somebody born in the year of the serpent, or the year of the dog. In Chinese astrology, we do have lunar cycles coming in here. I just heard harvest moon. So I feel like there's something that comes into alignment with the harvest moon in October that really shows you where you belong. There may be a trip involved in this. There's some kind of alignment here. I think stars align. And once again, you'll get what you want, or you'll come to realize that you want what you got. Either way, it turns out beautifully. And there's somebody there to greet you, and you're moving forward together, and there's a building block for your future. So